In the world of jiu-jitsu, Gordon Ryan is the king. He's the most dominant competitor we've seen in a long time, and he makes sure everybody knows it. His reign has been built on unbelievable success, but also on a whole lot of controversy and conflict. He's not just an athlete, he's a master of self-promotion, whose personality has drawn more eyes to the sport than ever before. But when you're at the top, everyone wants a piece of you. His opponents don't just want to win, they want to tear down his throne. For them, this isn't just about a medal, it's personal. The line between competition and genuine hatred has blurred into a mess of public feuds, broken friendships, and bitter accusations. So, we're going to break down the 5 biggest feuds of his career to understand the bad blood, the betrayals, and exactly why his rivals want to do more than just beat him. They want to destroy him. Rivalry number 5, Roberto Cyborg, the War for Respect. Coming in at number 5 is a rivalry that wasn't about a bunch of back-and-forth matches, but about a clash over what jiu-jitsu should even be. This is the story of Gordon Ryan versus Roberto Cyborg Abreu, a war for the very soul of the sport. Roberto Cyborg Abreu is a legend, a veteran world champion from a completely different era. He comes from an old-school way of thinking where respect and martial arts values are everything, maybe even more important than pure talent. To Cyborg, jiu-jitsu is about honor, and then came Gordon Ryan. Their collision was set for the 2018 IBJJF No-Gi World Championships. In the lead-up, Ryan did what he does best. He went online and told everyone to stay the home. It was a bold, dismissive shot at the entire division. For a veteran like Cyborg, who had been competing since Ryan was in diapers, this was way more than trash talk. It was a huge sign of disrespect. He fired back publicly, saying, "The BS you create around yourself is not what BJJ is all about. It will never be about the medals and titles, my friend." The battle lines were drawn. This was the old guard versus the new wave, tradition versus trash talk. The bad blood wasn't just online. It spilled onto the mats in one of the strangest finals we've seen in a long time. When the match started, Cyborg, furious with what he saw as Ryan's total lack of respect, refused to actually grapple. For almost 10 minutes, Ryan sat in his famous butt scoot position, trying to start something, while Cyborg just circled and pushed him, refusing to play his game. The climax of this rivalry wasn't some amazing submission, but a disqualification. With only a few seconds left on the clock, Cyborg was disqualified due to accumulated penalties for stalling. The match ended in a storm of controversy. Ryan had won double gold, but all anyone was talking about was Cyborg's protest. Cyborg later apologized for his actions, but stood by why he did it, saying he was standing up to a bully. For him, this was a battle to defend the honor of the sport he'd given his life to. For Ryan, it was just another win, another legend tossed aside. He saw it as proof that his way, loud, cocky, and dominant, was the future of jiu-jitsu. This feud shows you the deep resentment many in the old guard have for Ryan, a feeling that they aren't just losing, but that their entire value system is being thrown in the trash. Rivalry number 4, Nicky Rodriguez, the protege turned challenger. If the rivalry with Cyborg was about a clash of generations, our number 4 spot is a story of brotherhood gone bad. It's about the protege who was supposed to be his right-hand man, only to break away and become one of his most dangerous physical threats. This is the feud between Gordon Ryan and Nicky Rodriguez. For years, Nicky Rod was a key part of the Danaher Death Squad, DDS. He was more than a teammate. He was Gordon Ryan's main training partner, an athletic freak who could push the king in ways no one else could. He was the unstoppable force to Ryan's immovable object, a critical piece of the DDS machine that ran over the grappling world. They were a unified force on the same side. But behind closed doors, things were falling apart. The intense pressure of living and training together 24/7, first in New York and then in Puerto Rico during the pandemic, made every little disagreement feel huge. Tensions were high until, in July 2021, John Danaher announced the unthinkable. The Danaher Death Squad was breaking up. That split is what turned them from training partners into bitter rivals. Out of the DDS ashes, two new super teams popped up in Austin, Texas: New Wave Jiu-Jitsu, led by Danaher and Ryan, and the B Team, co-founded by Craig Jones and, of course, Nicky Rodriguez. The Brotherhood was officially dead. The reasons for the split were complicated. Danaher blamed personality conflicts, but Nicky Rod later gave a more direct reason, talking about the animosity in the room and saying it was healthier for us to split off. He seemed to be pointing the finger at one person, hinting that there was a 240-pound elephant in the room and that the team needed to get rid of Ryan for their own good. He's even been quoted calling his former teammate poison. This act of leaving and starting a rival team was seen as a huge betrayal by Ryan. All of a sudden, his toughest training partner was in the enemy camp, building a brand to directly compete with him. The beef wasn't just personal anymore, it was team versus team. The rivalry finally exploded on the competition mats. Their match at ADCC 2022 was one of the most hyped of the whole event. While Ryan won that one pretty decisively, the feud was far from over. They had a rematch at a Fight Pass Invitational event that was much closer. During that match, Nicky Rod badly injured Ryan's foot in a toe hold, with Ryan later claiming it was broken before losing a decision in overtime. This match just threw more fuel on the fire. Ryan accused Nicky Rod of greasing, while Rodriguez fired back with his own accusations, claiming Ryan's dominance comes from steroids. This has become the main theme of their feud. Nicky Rod believes he's the one to expose the king. He's made public million-dollar challenges for a rematch, which Ryan has mostly ignored or answered with a list of crazy demands, leading Rodriguez to say, "It sounds like he's scared." For Rodriguez, this is a quest to prove he's more than just a former sidekick. For Ryan, every challenge from Nicky Rod is a threat from someone who knows his game inside and out, and a chance to silence a critic who is questioning the very source of his power. Rivalry number 3, Andre Galvão, the Legend Clash. Coming in at number 3 is what happens when a living legend meets the guy who came to tear his statue down. It's a feud that led to one of the most infamous backstage moments in Jiu-Jitsu history. This is Gordon Ryan versus Andre Galvão. Andre Galvão is Jiu-Jitsu royalty. As the longtime ADCC Superfight champion and the founder of the powerhouse team Atos, he was a pillar of the sport. By 2021, Gordon Ryan was the new king of no-gi, but there was one crown he didn't have: the ADCC Superfight title that Galvão held. A match between them was bound to happen. It was the passing of the torch moment the whole world was waiting for. The beef started online, with Ryan's usual trash talk aimed at Galvão and his team. But this rivalry was going to be much more than a war of words. These were two alpha competitors on a collision course, one representing the old guard and the other the brash new generation here to tear it all down. Galvão was a legend protecting his legacy, and wasn't exactly thrilled to risk it against a younger, bigger killer like Ryan. Their ADCC Superfight wasn't just a match, it was a grudge match, the revenge of the slap that had everyone talking. Ryan had made it clear he wouldn't bow to anyone. He would dominate them, on and off the mat. The climax came at ADCC 2022. The Superfight was one of the most anticipated matches in the event's history. The buildup was huge, fueled by years of trash talk and the image of that backstage slap. For Galvão, this was about more than defending his title. It was about defending his honor. For Ryan, it was the ultimate chance to solidify his legacy by taking down a legend on the sport's biggest stage. The match itself was a masterclass from Ryan. He controlled Galvão from start to finish, eventually submitting him to claim the Superfight championship. The victory was a definitive statement. Ryan hadn't just beaten the legend, he had broken him. He had proven that his era was here, and that respect wasn't something he was going to ask for. It was something he was going to take by force. This rivalry shows the pure animosity Ryan can create. He doesn't just want to win, he wants to conquer, leaving no doubt that the old kings have been dethroned. These rivalries show just how personal the fight against Gordon Ryan can get. But we're just getting started. The next two are even crazier, fueled by years of history and a deep sense of betrayal. If you're liking this breakdown of all the jiu-jitsu drama, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Rivalry number 2, Felipe Pena, the oldest grudge. At number 2, we have the longest and most competitive rivalry of Gordon Ryan's career. This isn't just a feud, it's a saga. His opponent is the one man who can be called Ryan's kryptonite, the only grappler to have ever beaten him twice in no-gi competition. The rivalry started way back in 2016, before Ryan was the king. A rising Gordon Ryan faced Felipe Pena and got submitted with a rear naked choke. A year later, they met again in the absolute finals of the 2017 ADCC World Championships. In a tough, grueling match, Pena beat Ryan again, this time on points, cementing himself as the one puzzle Ryan just couldn't solve. Those two losses are the biggest blemishes on Ryan's otherwise nearly perfect no-gi record. For a guy as obsessed with dominance as Ryan, Pena wasn't just a rival, he was an asterisk next to his claim as the greatest of all time. Pena was a ghost from his past that he had to get rid of to be seen as truly undisputed. This rivalry is about pure competition, one guy who has the secret and another who is desperate to prove it was a fluke. As Ryan's star grew, so did the bad blood. For years, the feud played out online, a constant war of words. Pena would accuse Ryan of ducking him, saying he was scared of a third match. Ryan would fire back, calling Pena's wins flukes and questioning his skills. The trash talk got super personal. Ryan has slammed Pena's coaching and called him dumb as a rock. Pena sees Ryan's whole personality as an insult to the sport and to Brazilian jiu-jitsu culture. The rivalry was cursed with delays. Matches were booked only to fall through, with each side blaming the other. This just added to the drama. Ryan claimed Pena was making excuses, while Pena's camp hinted that Ryan was the one making things difficult. The entire grappling world was waiting for the trilogy match that would finally settle the score. The tension hit a breaking point before their 2022 match at a Who's Number 1 event. The match itself was a weird, no-time limit marathon. After more than 40 minutes of exhausting grappling, a frustrated and drained Pena verbally quit, giving Ryan the win, but not a submission. That win was huge for Ryan, but it didn't feel final. He made his opponent quit, but he didn't tap him out. The asterisk was still there. The score was now 2-1 in Pena's favor. Their most recent match was a tense, strategic battle that went into overtime, where Ryan finally won by points, evening their official head-to-head record. Yet, even that didn't end the debate. Ryan won on points, but he still hasn't submitted the man who submitted him all those years ago. For Felipe Pena, this rivalry is about defending his legacy as the one guy who consistently had Ryan's number. It's about pride. For Gordon Ryan, this is his white whale. Beating Pena is about more than just winning. It's about rewriting history. It's about erasing the last bit of doubt about his greatness and silencing the one rival who can look him in the eye and say, "I beat you." Until he gets that submission, the ghost of Felipe Pena will continue to haunt him. Rivalry 1. Craig Jones, the ultimate betrayal. And now for the number 1 spot. This isn't a rivalry, it's the story of a brotherhood blowing up in the most spectacular way possible, tearing apart the most dominant team in modern jiu-jitsu. This is the ultimate BJJ betrayal, Gordon Ryan versus Craig Jones. Gordon Ryan and Craig Jones were the two biggest stars of the Danaher Death Squad. Ryan was the intense, unbeatable king. Jones was the hilarious, sarcastic Australian who became a fan favorite with his jokes and deadly leg locks. Together, they were unstoppable, sharing podiums and looking like best friends as they took over the grappling world. But when the team moved to Puerto Rico, Paradise started to look more like a prison. The intense, isolated environment created a pressure cooker that made every little issue explode. Clashing personalities and the tension of having so many alpha competitors in one room started to boil over. In July 2021, the DDS officially split, and the jiu-jitsu world couldn't believe it. The greatest team in a generation had imploded. The fallout from this feud has been a public train wreck, fought not on the mats, but on every social media platform imaginable. Two rival teams, New Wave and B Team, were born in Austin, Texas, and the two former friends became the faces of opposing sides. Their stories about why the team fell apart couldn't be more different, and that's where the real hatred comes from. Gordon Ryan claims Craig Jones is a saboteur. In his version, Jones was a destructive force who, because he couldn't beat Ryan, decided to destroy the team from the inside. Craig Jones fires back with a completely different story, using his classic biting sarcasm and memes as weapons. He paints the DDS environment under Ryan and Danaher as toxic. This online war has gotten uglier and uglier. They've traded deeply personal insults, and screenshots of private messages have been leaked. The climax of this rivalry isn't a single match because they haven't competed since the split. It's the ongoing public meltdown of their relationship. It has reached a point of no return. For Gordon Ryan, Craig Jones is the ultimate traitor, the guy who destroyed his team and now attacks his character every single day. The feud is a battle to protect his legacy. For Craig Jones, this is a fight over the truth. He wants to expose what he sees as the toxic reality behind Ryan's kingdom and establish the B Team not just as a rival camp, but as the healthier, more authentic future of the sport. This rivalry is the most personal, the most bitter, and the most dramatic in all of jiu-jitsu, fueled by a sense of betrayal so deep it may never heal. From fights over respect to the wreckage of a broken brotherhood, Gordon Ryan's rivalries give you a perfect look at what makes him such a polarizing figure in combat sports. But what do you think? Who do you believe is Gordon Ryan's single greatest rival? And who has the best shot of finally dethroning the king? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.